Your people weren't sabotaging my operations. And if sabotaging the orchards weren't enough, you had to make it personal. You really had to bust my Insta coffee maker too? The nerve.
Hold that asinine thought. Who is this armed stranger who just wandered into your office? Back up for a fight you can't finish?
What the hell are you talking about? I don't know this fella. I think it's mightily more likely that he's under your payroll. Here to burn down what you haven't already.
I see. Just a visitor, then. Congratulations, Hathaway. Not everyone's abandoned your orchards.
Well, shame that you're trying to change that. Anyway, sorry for the heated reception, stranger. There's just been some trouble here of late. Name's Overseeing Orchardist Hathaway, and I'm in charge of these orchards. Though it seems like certain groups, which will remain unnamed, are trying to change that. Looks like I'm stuck playing the part of customer service rep. Guess it's different from the usual, at least. Something I can do for you? Yeah, just another woe to add to the pile. In the past, the orchard subcontracted security work from Slug. You know, keep the malcontents on staff from causing too much trouble. But between the Spectrum Brown unveiling demanding all of our resources and the recent uptick in worker accidents, we just ain't got the budget for security. And, of course, Slug has decided that instead of being reasonable, they're just gonna sabotage our operations until we start paying them again.
Look at the poor Rizzos manager, lying about Sublight to make himself feel better. Shame he skipped where Rizzos was short on our payments months before the new unveiling.
Look, at the end of the day, it's obvious that Slug is sabotaging us. I ain't paying until they come clean. It's the strangest thing. Like everyone forgot their 10-minute workplace safety seminars. That's twice as long as the next leading brand. Our people should be safety experts. But I've seen folks step on open electrical wires, drop pallets on each other. One damn fool even blundered into a wasp-keto hive. Even as he died, he looked fairly pleased. Oh, you know, nothing particularly troublesome. Just rogue exterminator mechanicals, opening fire on anything that twitches within 300 yards of them. We've also got a large group of new saplings, all dead from some kind of toxic substance. Poison, I'd guess. And who could forget the tower processing console, which probably just shorted out and stopped working on its own, even though it's outfitted with 3 separate backup systems?
There are a suite of explanations for what could have happened, most pointing to Rizzo's worker incompetence. My people didn't sabotage anything.
Thank the law, some good news. You hear that, lapdog? Truth's coming. Better fess up while you still can outside of an interrogation room.
While I'm sure you'd love to have a scapegoat on whom you can pin your own incompetence, I suspect you'll be disappointed. But what do I know? I suppose it's up to your new hiree. I'm sorry you had to come in on such a brusque conversation. Not everyone appreciates the work Slug does on Eridanos.
Especially not folk that Slug is trying to extort.
All right, it seems I need to say it yet again. We're not stomping upon your purple berries or knocking your workers off the planetoid. All we want is for you to pay your dues.
And I want you to stop setting our exterminator mechanicals loose and breaking our machinery.
This is how the conversation has gone for the last hour and a half. As you can see, it hasn't been terribly productive. You're welcome to. I don't have any secrets. Nothing that you couldn't observe yourself. I try not to spend much time here. Hate the outdoors. If you haven't already noticed, these orchards are more of a wreck than even some of the cities on Monarch. Mismanagement, I suspect. What can Slug do for you? Nope. Sorry, but this is the first I've visited this area in over a month. Shame about Helen. Liked her movies.
They were a much-needed diversion from the inadequacies of life in Halcyon.
Celebs as big as Helen always seem to elicit strong binary opinions in people. But that's neither here nor there. Well, he's being difficult, as you've no doubt seen. All I'm here to do is enforce an agreed-upon business relationship. But our friend here is disinclined to settle.
Don't tell me to settle. Why don't you settle?
Yes, I'll be sure to do that. I know what you must be thinking, but no, I'm not here to atomize his kneecaps. I just want Slug to get what we're owed. Much as we love giving the bureaucrats 29% of our profits, technically not. Official contracts have some rather obscene fees and documentation. Instead, our company's opted for a non-official manager's agreement. I'm just here to make certain our friend over there pays on time. You're weird. Generous, but weird. The sentiment is nice, but Rizzos doesn't just pay money. They're also literally our meal tickets. Unless you also happen to own an orchard, I don't think you can clear this guy. Do I? Didn't realize that expecting my company to be paid for its work was extortion. You should try telling that to the board. Regardless, Slug's protection service has ensured that Rizzos has had zero problems with its shipments at the docks, and all for a reasonable price. We haven't been hostile when their payments came up short either. In fact, Rizzos is more of a danger to the orchards than us, considering all the workplace injuries. If I hear that question one more time, I swear. Look, we just want to get paid. Hampering our clients' productivity is not a good way to get paid. In fact, it's bad business. Yes, I think we've spoken enough about that imbecile.
You're back, I see. Glad Slug hasn't managed to scare you off.
I think it's more of a wonder that nothing in these law-forsaken orchards has managed to kill them.
How's the investigation going? You got a complete report for me yet? Well, at the moment I can't do a whole lot with this vulture hanging over my shoulder. So I suppose you may as well take your time.
Really now? I consider myself more of a watch canid, here to make sure you don't try to run off without paying us.
There's something else you need to know? The tower processing console is completely fried. Whoever took it out must have used some kind of explosive. The mechanicals were hacked. They're pretty much running amok. If you could keep from destroying too many, I'd be obliged. Would save us a lot. That said, you might want to be careful. Those things are built to take on waspkitos, and waspkitos are generally tougher to kill than people. Just something to keep in mind. Got a lot of dead saplings that'll cost us a lot of bits. I've got a feeling someone poisoned them somehow.
Analysis. This discarded canister is typical of the R-mounted storage tanks on the orchard's agricultural mechanicals. However, it is not currently attached to a mechanical. This canister contains a high amount of vinegar in addition to water. Warning. Use of vinegar, a known herbicide on purpleberry saplings, is a violation of Rizzos agricultural standards. Chemical makeup of substance. 50% water, 50% vinegar. Trace amounts of woolly cow feces also detected. These canisters can typically be found in the nursery storage building in the purpleberry orchards, except for this one, which can be found here. A discrepancy detected nearby. This console is 95% non-functional. Remaining 5% functionality stems from display reading console non-functional. Cause of shortout is most likely related to purple residue splattered all across the keyboard. Substance contains trace amounts of purple berries, fruit flavors, and artificial sweeteners number 35, number 49, number 240, number 322, number 314, and many, many, many others.
You know you're liable to get sick doing that.
Back again, eh? I knew you couldn't resist my charms for long. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Unless you already have, and I've forgotten. In which case, I probably won't forget a second time. Well, yes. The orchards are becoming overrun with pests. Usually we give workers handguns and tell them to go to town, which results in many injured workers and a few dead sprats. Our exterminator automax only kill mosquitoes, and even then, only if an exec somehow ended up in the orchards during a pollinization cycle. So I decided to do some reprogramming. The reprogramming was easy until I locked myself out of the terminal. Then, when I was running away from the bots, I dropped the terminal access card somewhere in the orchards. Believe me, I know that now. Guess I did sort of mess that one up. Why should weed killer affect saplings? Weed killer. It's in the name. It should kill only weeds. That really seems like it's more on product design than on me. Well, maybe. I might have had a supersized cup of mixed purpleberry punch and lemon slap that I might have knocked over when I was running routine diagnostics. Look, I know what you're thinking, but I have the proper permit to mix those drinks. I just left it in my other work uniform.
I don't know if I believe her, but she's really trying her best.
Hey, we have a lot of uniforms. It's hard keeping track of all your belongings. Product experimentation without an R&D license is even more severe than damage to company property. Wouldn't want anyone thinking I'm making black market mixed drinks. But there's nothing to come clean about. I've just been doing my best out here.
You're back, I see. Glad Slug hasn't managed to scare you off.
I think it's more of a wonder that nothing in these law-forsaken orchards has managed to kill them.
How's the investigation going? You got a complete report for me yet? All right, let's hear the details. I see you left a few of them intact even. Smashed more than I'd like, but I guess I'm glad you didn't obliterate them all.
Never did like leaving a job half-finished myself, but that's me.
So what were the fine details of the sabotage anyhow? Were Slug's lackeys trying to get the mechanicals to kill all our waspitos? Of course. And what better way to do that than by targeting our pollinizers? They'd be a hell of a pain to kill manually. But if you set the mechanicals to do it...
In your delusional fantasy, the Waspitos wouldn't be out until next pollinization cycle. Wouldn't someone notice the rampant mechanicals beforehand?
That seems like a question you should be asking yourself. Well, yes, it's possible to manually start and end cycles in Hive Control, but we keep a careful watch on it. And there have been no non-Rizzos personnel in or out.
Stop wasting everyone's time, Hathaway. What you're proposing is infinitely less likely than an idiot maneuver by one of your incompetent workers. I won't hear any further slander.
A drink? I ain't ever heard of no saboteur dumping drinks all over equipment to destroy it. I hate to say it, but that sounds more like worker carelessness.
How many times do I have to tell you this, old man? Slug isn't behind your problems. Slug wouldn't even need to cause you problems. Your own workers do enough.
Ha! Knew Slug was behind the damn sabotage.
Please. We're subtle, but that's too subtle. If we wanted to destroy your saplings, you'd have known them by the blackened remnants of their stems, not some half-assed poisoning. Let's go through this one final time so even you can't confuse it, Hathaway. Slug didn't do a damn thing to your orchards. You're chasing ghosts.
Talk about ghosts all you like, but someone was screwing with my orchards. If it wasn't Slug, then who the hell was it? Summers? The intern? I didn't really take her for a meddlesome type. But now that I think about it, that's why she'd be a perfect saboteur. I'll deal with her later. Right now, we of the orchards have to settle things with Slug. I reckon that you're about as impartial a third party as we're gonna get. Can you mediate?
Ah, what the hell. The orchardist seems to get off on complicating what should be a simple deal, but at this point, I just want to be paid and go. The pollen in the air is agitating.
Never like paying bits if I ain't gotta, but you're right. If we get production finished now, we'll be able to pay later. Thoughts, Slug Boy?
I think that's the first interesting suggestion I've heard since our back and forth began. Slug can wait for an increase in costs. I hope we won't have this conversation again.
Now that that's out of the way, we can discuss the intern. If she was really causing all that trouble, I will delight in severing her from her job. Even if I were inclined to believe you, that's some damn severe incompetence you're talking about. I still wouldn't want someone like that working the orchards. What the hell are you proposing? Let her burn the orchards down while I stand behind her and applaud? We ain't got nothing to exchange. She wants to help, does she? You know what? I'll call your bluff. She can keep at it with close supervision, but if she screws up even once, she's out. Use your pay, with a little extra for getting to the bottom of things. It's gonna be real interesting in the orchards for the foreseeable future. Thanks, I guess.
So, our situation is finally resolved. At the end of the day, it's almost amazing how easily you were able to solve both of our issues. Shame you aren't living in Byzantium. Could have been an intercorporate diplomat. But at the moment, I'm more than pleased to take advantage of your considerable skill. Thanks for ending this nightmare, Inspector.
Well, that's that, I reckon. Much as I would have liked you to send Slug packing, I can't deny that your solution was damn slick. Wish you'd been there at the annulment of my last marriage contract. Maybe then my ex-husband wouldn't have my house, our teacup canet, and 20,000 of my bits. Sorry. You're living past trauma. Thanks for working things out.